Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Bruins and beyond, welcome back to the Red Carpet to Wrestlemania here on UCLARadio.com. So today we have a really amazing guest with us, someone I've wanted to interview for a long while, because when I got into UCLA, one of the things I asked myself is which wrestlers have some sort of connection to this school? And you are the first to come up, Lisa Marie Varon, aka Victoria, aka Tara, former TNA Knockouts champion, two-time WWE Women's Champion, and the only Bruin to hold a world championship in the industry of professional wrestling. So that's a really amazing fact that I wanted to bring up and start off to introduce our guests to people who may not be wrestling fans, but are UCLA fans. We have just really someone who's had a really long, historic career in WWE and in TNA and in professional wrestling as a whole. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Victoria.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be on the UCLA freaking interview. I'm so honored, honestly. Go Bruins.
Yeah, absolutely. So before I get into, your career and stuff like that, the first question I wanted to ask you about is, obviously you and your relationship with Southern California goes back basically your whole life. So I wanted to ask you, what made you decide to go into UCLA? We'll get into your career and stuff like that later. But first of all, you studied at UCLA, and what made you decide to apply here?
That was my dream school growing up. I went to Riverside Community College, for my first 2 years. And then I transferred to Loma Linda University because they have a good medical program for biology majors. And it's a private school. My poor parents' college education, they need to do something about having it a little bit more accessible for students to be able to afford it and not pay loans for the rest of their lives, right? So I went to that private school, and it was Seventh-day Adventist. I'm not Seventh-day Adventist. And it was everyone that went to that school went to an SDA school. And so I came from public school, and it was such a big transition. I was like looked at as an outcast, not being their religion. I had a convertible Jeep at the time. I looked like I was a rebel, and they were vegetarian. And you have to live on campus the first 2 years. Even if you're old enough to have your own apartment, you still have to live on campus unless you have a really good excuse. But my parents were 30 minutes away, and I still had to live on campus. So that was another feat. And I was like, and my college experience, what I thought college was supposed to be was about branching out, becoming an adult, living on your own for the first time and making new friends. I didn't have that experience at Loma Linda University. It was very lonely, especially not growing up with the kids that, have that bond with the religion and stuff like that. And when you stayed home, like at the dorms on the weekend, you had to go to 3 to 4 church services. So your whole weekend still studying. Yeah. So so I would just make an excuse. Mom, Dad, what are you cooking tonight? I got laundry to do. Can I come over? You know what I mean? But I just told my parents, I was like, I appreciate this education that you're paying for. I got to work on a cadaver, my, first quarter of biology and, testing our own urine. Everybody that went to that school is either pre-med, pre-dentistry, nursing, nutrition, they're all in the medical field, so that's why I chose that school. But I said, maybe I should have went to UCLA like I wanted to, you know what I mean? And finally,
Right.
Then I said, I think I want to go to UCLA. And my dad was kind of a little bit like, because this school's so expensive. Not to say UCLA, you pay for education, especially private schools, right? And my goal was to get into Loma Linda Medical School. That's why I went to the school without being their religion and converting and stuff. So I got accepted at UCLA, and I was like, yay, got an apartment right behind Fraternity Row. Right in Westwood. It was, but my grades, I'm gonna be one of those honest ones. My grades went down because I never lived on my own. And you're, a young girl living in LA in a nice area, and everybody's walking around Westwood. There's so many things to see.
Yeah.
I was just a girl in the big city. I was just, I had too much fun. You know what I mean? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Westwood right now, actually. So what are your favorite memories of Westwood, or the campus, or any classes you took, or just anything at UCLA that gave you a great memory?
Oh my gosh. I worked at a record store there. It was right by that, that the gas station that's on an island, and it's it's there. Okay. I lived right across the street from there. And
Oh,
then
okay.
I worked a block away by this, there used to be a place that made falafels. I don't know if it's still there, but right next door was a record store, Mayhem. I think it was called Music Mayhem. I don't think it exists anymore.
I don't think it exists, but I know exactly where you're talking about.
Okay, yeah. And I had so much fun. I just wasn't mature enough to live on my own. I'm going to be completely honest. You know what I mean? You got to be ready to be responsible and going, okay, I got to study tonight, instead of going, oh, what's going on down the street? Oh, there's a premiere of a movie. What celebrity's going to be there? You know what I mean? Right?
100%.
It's like everything's the campus is beautiful. I would always take walks and just drive around and just look at the city and go, I can't believe I live here. I can't believe I live here.
I do the same thing.
Right? Don't you? And it never gets old. The traffic gets old, but everything else, you just like, it's so beautiful there. It was so amazing. It was an amazing experience living right across the street from the campus. You know? And
now, you know, you clearly just said there you had ambitions to be in the medical field, do biology and things like that. How did you go from there to very soon after heading to the WWE or getting into professional wrestling business?
Oh my goodness. Working when I was, in Loma Linda, we were working on cadavers already. You know what I mean? They're really cutting you out for medical school. And then I went to UCLA, and it was a little bit different studies. I'll be honest with you, a little bit. There was no cadavers. Like I was like,
exactly.
Cadavers, and they're like, oh, that's not till med school. And I go, oh no, my poor parents spent a fortune. I had to get an apartment. They're spending a lot of money on the apartment, and I'm still working, but what is minimum wage at a record store? You know what I mean? And I got a job was it Riverside? No, it's Loma Linda, Redlands, California. I was removing corneas, heart, saphenous vein, and bone middle ear for transplantation because of the education I had, right? And the experience I had. So I got a job there, and you're cutting through, not to be too graphic, it was so rewarding working there. Being part of helping someone see again, or someone, it was so rewarding. And I got a job there, and then cutting through, I got addicted to working out. I was like, wow, my family's not really healthy, high blood pressure, like, that kind of stuff. And my ex-husband wanted to open a gym. And so we opened a gym in Redlands, California called Mom's Gym, which it wasn't for moms. It was just a funny name, how people have tattoos that say mom.
Right. Yeah.
But people thought it was just for women. And then so I started teaching aerobics there. Then I started lifting weights, and my body transitioned. Like it changed from lifting weights, and I was like, I should have been lifting weights the whole entire time instead of just cardio, because you get soft fat, I mean, skinny fat. Right. And my body changed, and I started entering competitions. I only did one bodybuilding competition when I was middleweight. And then I saw this fitness competitions on TV where you do gymnastics. I was a gymnast growing up, cheerleader, dance, all that kind of stuff, track and stuff like. And I saw that fitness thing, and I was like, that's right up my alley. I can do a dance routine with the gymnastics involved with it, and with the muscularity, and I got my pro card in 1999. That's when, I met Tori Wilson competing in fitness competitions, and I knew Trish Stratus from, fitness industry, because you do get sent to the Arnold Classics and sign autographs as a competitor, way different than what wrestling was about. I mean, the autograph sessions are way different, and then you get to walk around and no one even knows who the heck you are unless they have that muscle mag,
Gotcha.
And, right back in those days. And you probably don't remember, you're too young, but
I was born in 99, so definitely not.
Oh my goodness, are you serious?
100%.
Hilarious. Oh my God, you're such a baby. Your parents must be so proud. My goodness.
I hope so.
What is your major?
Economics and communications major, so double majoring.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. Oh my goodness. Do you speak a second language too?
I speak a couple languages, actually. 7 at this 8.
7?
8, that's a whole other story.
I would went back and studied a language too. You know what I mean? I'm half Puerto
100%.
Rican, but I don't speak Spanish at all. My dad never spoke to us in Spanish. Yeah, and it hurt me in the future, But okay, so I met Tori, and she was like, got hired at WCW, escorting one of the guys to the ring. And I go, "You get paid for this? Are you kidding me?" And she was trying to get me to WCW, but that was
Right.
not, they were not continuing on. They weren't hiring any more people. I didn't know the company was going down. And so I met China at West Hollywood. I was working at Crunch Gym as a trainer.
Right.
And I lived there with my ex-husband at the time. And met her, and I said, "Oh, I have a couple friends that do wrestling." And she goes, "Wow, are you a wrestler? You have a good look for it." And I go, "No, I think I can do what the guys do, though. Like Rey Mysterio and Rob Van Dam, gymnastics, the flyer, like no fear, that kind of thing." And she goes, "You should really look into it." I put a package together, paid $600 on a VHS.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had it professionally edited. Me at the beginning went boom, and there was my a boxing glove. Not that I boxed.
Nice.
Lisa Marie Varon, and it was like it transitioned to. It was so nice. And I got a call a month later. They never received such a professional tryout video, and they're like, "Oh, I asked, what do you see me doing? Do you see me? I'm not a Tori Wilson or a Trish. I'm a little bit bigger girl."
Right.
And they're like, "You wrestle?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay. We want to meet you in 30 days. And then so I Googled pro wrestling school in LA. There was nothing in LA at the time. And so I had to drive. I called them and said, "Hey, WWF called me. I have a tryout, or they want to meet me. I need to learn how to wrestle in a month." It's not possible to learn that fast, Little did I know, because I'm thinking gymnastics routine or dance routine. It's like 5, 6, 7, 8. You know what I mean? It's like everything's choreographed. Wrestling is not all choreographed, right? It's like filling off the crowd and changing your moves.
You have to fill in the blanks and improv. There's a lot of that stuff.
Totally.
So definitely different.
When the crowd is not biting, they're like, "Oh my gosh, they're not booing me. I need to turn it up. I need to do something really nasty." And then the Godfather was looking for 2 girls to be on his hoe train. And that was my foot in the door. I was like, let me get in there. I didn't want to do that, of course, it was fun, easiest gig ever. But I was like, I don't want to be called a hoe. You know what I mean? What the heck? And I told my parents, I'm going to put school on hold. I'm going to try this wrestling thing. And they're like,
were they supportive of that?
At the beginning, they're just like, I was the crazy kid. I had 3 older brothers. The bodybuilding thing was like, "Well, what are you doing? The fitness competitions. What are you doing? You can't eat this. You can't eat that. Every time we cook for you, you can't eat this." But what I did, I would succeed at it. Then they were like going, "Oh, that's my daughter. She's so," that kind of thing, And when they came to a show in WWE for LA Staples, and then the Anaheim, and we were doing Ontario at the time, and they were like hearing people like applaud and stuff. They're like, "That's my daughter. That's my daughter." And I remember going through, it was Alpha Beta. It's like a Stater Brothers, or it's a grocery store. And it was a magazine called WOW, Women of Wrestling, or like,
right.
It was just wrestle. Okay. And not just Women of Wrestling, was World of Wrestling or something, but they had a WOW section for women. And I was in it. We were purchasing it at Alpha Beta. And then the lady was like looking at it. "Oh, you're a wrestling fan." She goes, "Oh, look, this is my daughter," And I was like, okay, now they appreciate what I do, because, I'm getting recognition a little bit and appreciation. Mm-hmm. And they did, growing up, I wasn't a hardcore wrestling fan. I knew nothing. Like, when you live in LA, are you from California originally?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Where are you from?
I'm from Bahrain, a country in the Middle East. I'm an international student.
Oh my goodness. So how long have you been in LA? Look, I'm reversing the interview now. How long?
That's totally fine. 3 years, I guess, 3.5, because I just only came here for UCLA.
Wow. Oh, you went to a great spot to come.
Yeah, 100%.
First spot, right? Totally, right? Oh,
definitely.
My goodness. And what did I ask that for?
You didn't grow up a wrestling fan.
I wasn't a wrestling fan, so I knew nothing. I knew no one in the industry. And to try to explain to my parents what I'm doing, I couldn't explain it myself. So I'm like, I'm going to try it. And they're like, "Well, about school." And I'm like, you know me, I'm going to get bored. 3 months, I'll probably last there. And I'm like, okay, this is not for me. And then go back. But of course, I got bit by the bug and I loved it. I embraced it. It became a passion. And then I studied all the legends, and like all the wrestling schools I went to were all WWE developmental territories.
Gotcha.
Where they were investing in that school to look for more talent. And so I got lucky. I went to really good schools. Like all of them were associated to WWE.
I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Did you train at UPW?
I did.
So I want to ask you about that specifically because exactly as you're talking about, that's a school that, you know, led to the rise of so many people, including John Cena, Samoa Joe. I think Batista trained there at one point, including others. So I wanted to ask, did you train with anyone there?
Kazarian, Christopher Daniels. There's so many names, and I'm gonna kick myself in the butt going, oh, I didn't mention him. But everybody at that school were successes in the future, you know, like when I went to the school though, when I walked in, it was a boxing ring. So no padding on the, so I had to learn how to bump on just wood, you know, and I knew a bump. I didn't know what the bumping was. Let's run the ropes. I was good at running the ropes because my cardiovascular was so great,
right?
You know? But I had no idea. They did beat the crap out of me in my first class, and I came back and they're like, I didn't think you're going to come back. And I go, am I not invited back? I go, oh, I just drove 3 hours to be here because of LA traffic again. And they were like, oh, and then Samoa Joe took me aside and started training me a little bit one-on-one. Tom Howard was there. Oh my goodness. There was Jerry Lynn. Yeah. There was just so many names there that of course, no one knew yet. You know what I
right.
mean? And then I remember when I got brought up, I ran, you know, Jerry Lawler. He goes, you should move to Memphis if you're serious about going to wrestle.
Of course.
I want to go to Memphis Championship Wrestling. It's also WWE. And I had a discussion with them, and they had a meeting. They're like, how fast can you get there? Can you get there in a week? Packed our bags from LA, left. We moved to Memphis, picked up and moved, and just thought I was just going to be there for 3 months, you know, of training, and that's it. But I was there for a year, and then that school closed down, and then they moved me to Louisville, Kentucky, which was OVW.
Of course.
That was the superstar platform. Like even in the Memphis, everybody there, you would see on WWE TV.
Gotcha.
That was a success school, and I mean, like American Dragon, Daniel Bryan. Okay, yeah. I called him American Dragon because that's how I met him. But all these people. Then when I moved to Louisville, most of the people got transferred to another school in Cincinnati. And I was the only one. I was like, why am I going to OVW and everybody else is going there? They're like, well, you don't question it. You just go. Right. So we moved to Louisville. Randy Orton, teased Brock Lesnar, Shelton Benjamin.
John Cena.
Yep, John Cena. Eugene, Rob Conway. All those people, I said Randy Orton, all those people ended up being in WWE at the time.
And those are the people you trained with.
And now I really appreciate it now, because if I go to, like, when you go to training, like sometimes you go to do an independence show and then they'll say, hey, can you do a little session at our school? And, you know, the caliber I trained with, I trained from the best. Do you know what I mean? Jim Cornette was
right
there, Danny Davis, like all these people, which of course me not knowing not much about it, you know what I mean? Appreciate it later when I was like going, oh my God, I went to a really good school. And some of these indies, like or they don't know what's expected on TV.
Gotcha.
It's a completely different scenario. It's Sunday, you know, it's training 5 days a week. I'm sorry, 5 hours a day, and go to at a church or on a corner of a gas station. It was, but I thought that was a
Right.
test. I was always going, okay, they put me through a test. This is what I'm supposed to do.
And what
You know
point
I mean?
did you start transitioning from, being one of the Godfather's girls on the side to, at what point did they say to you, hey, we want you in the ring. We want you to be, main event caliber in the women's division. When did that happen?
When Godfather turned on the Godfather girls, he threw me through a table, which I did
Really hard.
Yeah, really hard, really hard. Holy moly. And they're like, hey, he needs to turn on one of you guys and throw one of you guys through the table. And I go to wrestling school. You go to wrestling school? I go, yes, I go to, did you guys not know I go to wrestling school? I'm going to wrestling, I can do it. I can do it. And the reason why he threw me so hard is because to make sure the table broke. But I thought, I think I weigh more than Spike Dudley. He goes, so I was like, I'll break the table. I weigh a lot more than what you think,
Right.
And that's when it took me off TV. And then permanently I was in Louisville, Kentucky, training. Then I would get teased. Hey, we got a spot for you. I'll get to the airport. I'll get a call. We're not going to do it this time. We changed our plans. And so I was like, oh, maybe I'm being tested again. How badly do I want it? Do I want to say, screw it? I'm tired of getting sent to the airport all the time. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I thought it was part of the game. I thought it was, let's see how bad you want it, that kind of thing. But I'm glad I didn't get brought up right after that table. I did need the training and have some matches under my belt. And even when you're brought up to WWE, when they think you're ready, in your mind, you're so insecure and you're just like, I don't think I'm good enough as these people. I'm not this good. I'm not, where's the camera angles? Oh my, this is a bigger platform that I'm used to. And, you just do what you're told, in that kind of that atmosphere. And I always felt, am I good enough? I always question myself. I think that makes it, because I'm so super competitive and kind of a perfectionist, but no one's perfect, let's be honest. But I was never satisfied with matches. I would always come back. What did I do wrong? I would ask for the negative instead of getting the positive. You know what I mean?
Right. And
isn't that weird? But
it makes
you better. Pardon.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask, was that even the case when you were thrown essentially right into the main event? You're immediately in the ring with the likes of Trish Stratus and Jacqueline and Stacy Keibler. Even though you're in this main event, you still have that nagging insecurity about you.
Oh yeah, a lot of doubt. What the heck? And then every time I'm one of those people are like this, like right before going out, I'm pacing. I'm like, don't come near me. Don't come near me. My hands are sweating. And I'm like against the curtain, where the gorilla is, where we go out through the curtain. And I'm just going, why am I at this business when I am tearing myself apart right now?
Right.
That nerves, that like wanting to vomit and pee your pants and like get nervous belly and all this stuff and your mind is going, oh, wait, I forgot what we were supposed to. Okay. Remind me of stuff out there, talk to me out there too. I was always self-doubting. And they always say, if you're not nervous anymore, you lost the passion, get out. If you're not nervous for your craft, it's time to move on. You know what I mean? Then
right.
doesn't mean you care. You know what I mean? But I was like one of those people when I would get the rookies to work that was my long, gosh, all these Molly Holly, like all these people how to lead a match and notice like when you look at somebody's eyes, deer in headlights. I had that look too.
Gotcha.
And I would go, you okay? You lost? Okay, I'm gonna just stay down. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. Boom. I'll come back. Okay, you ready? All right. Okay. Start hitting me up. Hit me. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. Because we don't get different camera angles. We don't get to do the show again. You know what I mean? We have that one
it's
shot
one time.
Press, one time, and you're always like walking back up the ramp after a match. You're like, is Vince going to be happy? Are the agents going to be happy? Is Finley, who's our agent, is our coach? That's what I mean. And our producer, whatever. And who's in charge of us? Are they going to be happy? Did I mess up? Oh no, I didn't lay that clothesline in very well. You're always self-doubting. Always.
Right.
You're walking on eggshells going, am I good enough to be here? Is my repertoire getting better? Should I change something up? And you're always looking for feedback. You don't want to, I was the type, you don't need to tell me I did a great job. thank you. But what could I have done better?
Gotcha.
I was always like, yeah, you know, you could have laid this in. That kind of looked phony, like that, you know, that kind of stuff, you know? And we were like, my generation of girls, we would beat ourselves up a lot. Like we would call each other watching it on TV and going, oh man, so sorry. I forgot what, you know, I think I was lost in that moment. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was always hard to watch our matches because we're so critical.
And looking back, especially in that early crop of matches you have when you were that sort of insane character in WWE, what is your favorite match of that era, or one that you look back and you don't really criticize yourself too much? You just look at it and you go, you know what? I think we did a good job there.
We had a triple threat. Jazz, Trish, myself, and Stevie Richards was on my side, which he helped me through matches a lot. He would go, what's wrong? And I go, I'm so freaking nervous. I think I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna throw up. And he goes, you're good. Stop it. He goes, you got this. You got this. He would always give me that positive, you know, what I needed to hear before going out in that curtain.
Right.
That person always has your back. And we were very organic. We never scripted anything. Him and I just played off of each other. Don't say sorry out there. If you feel like you need to do something, if you feel it that our character would do that, do it. You can say sorry later, you know, or go, oh, I shouldn't have done that, you know. But that match, it was WrestleMania 18, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that match was not perfect. I mean, there's no such thing as a perfect match, but everything, like the timing on everything, like someone was supposed to be behind me. They're right there. And I was like, you know, sometimes you'll see people waiting, going, are they behind me? You know what I mean? Everything was just, the timing was so great. And walking out to that crowd and, oh my God, you can't prepare yourself every time you go through that curtain either, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to, and there's so many people and you're like, I can't believe this many people are here to watch a match.
And would you consider one of those two your greatest opponents or partners in the ring?
Yeah, that and Molly Holly, Gail Kim, oh my, ODB, Mickey James. Oh my, I was very lucky to be in an era where an Ivory, like all these great competitors that were not wanting to be the boobs and butt of the business. We wanted
100%.
Yeah, we wanted. I'm a wrestler. I'm not a diva. I mean, not. We got used to the name diva. We weren't insulted after a while, but we were like, we always hoped. We got the holy SHIT chant. Am I allowed to say that word?
Of course, yeah.
Oh,
100%.
okay.
You can say
The holy shit chant. You know, they're like, holy shit. Like, you know, when Trish took the chair shot in her head. Yeah, it's just like we had a lot of those moments, and it was crazy. It was just like, and we were getting all these more challenges. Okay, you have a street fight. Okay, now you have the cage matches, and you're like going, whoa. Holy moly. Okay, can I do this? You know, but you always second guess yourself, you know?
Of course. I mean, you even won your first world title in a hardcore match. And I wanted to ask you, what's the difference between preparing for something like that and preparing for a regular match? And especially when you know you're going in there for a world title, especially one that you're going to win.
Oh my God. Talking about being nauseous all day. I was nauseous, my stomach. I was just, you could look at me and people thought, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, I'm just nervous. I'm just overthinking everything. And, you know, everyone's like going, that was my favorite match of yours. And it's not my favorite. I love that match. Don't get me wrong. But not my favorite because the finish got messed up. She stepped on the mirror and I was supposed to crush the mirror on top of her head, but the mirror was broken.
Gotcha.
So like, oh my God. What do I do? Okay. I know there's a fire extinguisher underneath and I grabbed the wrong one that had the pin in it. I didn't know. And I used it. And then my go-to move when I'm a little lost, but it was also when I got most compliments, like, you do a great snap suplex.
Yeah.
That was my go. So if you get a compliment, you're like, I'm going to do my snap suplex, right? I should have just rolled her up because she got the fire extinguisher, but I went to my go-to snap suplex move and I pinned her and, you know, I chipped my tooth, I broke my nose and, you know, the referee was going, are you wanting to end this? Do you want to end this? And I'm like, I'm getting the title, you know, I'm getting the No, I'll definitely get fired. If I quit this match at Madison Square Garden as a heel, forget it. You'll get booed out and you'll never be accepted. You know what I mean? So, and it also was doing it in New York and in Madison Square Garden had so much history in that building. And
of course,
you know, and New Yorkers are not forgiving. Oh my
100%.
gosh. They'll let you know if you mess up. you know.
Apart from MSG, of course, are there any other places that you really love to wrestle? I mean, I'd love to hear about any like really great memories you have in Southern California or LA, but what are the best crowds for you?
Well, of course, you know, performing in California, on the, Southern California, like Anaheim, Staples, uh, Ontario, and because my family got to be there. My whole entire family would go there.
Right.
And they would have shirts made, Tara's mom, like, or that kind of thing, you know what I mean? And when you get to perform from your family, they get to see actually the hard work live and then see how people are reacting in the crowd. Even though I was a bad guy, they still
Right.
were like, oh my God, what is going on? This is a crazy circus. They still weren't used to it. But also too, one of my favorites was performing in Japan. My mom was born in Korea, raised in Japan. So I was raised with a lot of Asian culture,
Right.
with Japanese influence. So going there was like being, my mom came with me, she flew a week ahead to go spend time with the family. And her old house was torn down, so it wasn't there anymore, but she went to go see a statue that my dad and her met at, because he was in the Air Force. And it was just, I saw a sign, welcome home in Japan. I go, oh no, they think I'm Japanese. Oh no, did I ever do an interview saying I am Japanese? I'm not Japanese. But I always considered that Japanese culture, it's part of my upbringing. I
Of
didn't
course.
know like American kiddie songs. I didn't know, I know now, but Twinkle Twinkle, but my mom would sing it in Japanese. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I loved my upbringing. When you're grown up in different cultures, you really appreciate, instead of just being raised in the States and not
100%.
going to, right? You need to venture out because you appreciate everything,
Did you ever get to wrestle in Japan as the champion, either for TNA or WWE? Just out of curiosity.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know if I had the belt. I'll be honest with you. I don't remember. There's so many matches. Oh my gosh.
Of course.
There's so much. Like, you guys remember more like the fans know way more information than I do. They're like, do you remember this? I'm like, no, I don't. It's so embarrassing, but when you do it so long, but the legends like Ric Flair and Arn Anderson, they remember the buildings they were at. Oh, we did the match here in this building. And I'm like, I don't remember. How do you remember like that? I don't know. I don't get it.
Well, so in WWE, you came in immediately and you had these amazing matches with Trish and Jazz and all these amazing superstars you talked about. You won your first 2 world titles, I think, within the first few years of being in WWE. But you were a staple, like you joined in maybe 2002 when I was 2 years old, but I was still watching you wrestle in WWE up until maybe 2009, 2010. And then only did you go to TNA. So I wanted to ask, what was it like being essentially one of the most experienced by the time we got to that later era of 2009 or so before you went to TNA?
I was still self-doubting. Honestly, it never goes away. Even the indies, I retired recently. Even in the independent shows, I want to vomit and just go, like, because the independents, you really don't know the girl. Like the girls, like we worked in WWE and TNA, you kind of learn what their repertoire is and their style, right? And so you're used to working that, oh, she's going to do this. Oh, you know what I mean? Just by body language. And so you can read each other. When you go to independence, you don't know this person. You're like, I don't know what she does. What move does she do? What is that? I should know that move. I don't know what that is. But going to TNA, I felt when I first went there, I had a target on my back because I know they were going, oh, those WWE divas coming to our show. Well, thank you for your gracing our stage, that kind of thing. And so I kind of felt like, God, I have a lot to prove, you know what I mean? But the reason why I went there, when I watched Gail and Awesome Kong and ODB, all these girls having amazing matches, I was like, wow, these are girls I've never faced. And that's what intrigued me. And the girls had a lot more freedom to do their match. Like, you didn't have to ask a lot of permission there.
Right.
And I came from going, hey, can I do, is it okay to do this? Not every move, but you're like, I'm going to start it like this. And you're like, nope, the match before you started like that. You need to change it up. So every match has to be a little bit different,
Right.
And so you were responsible in WWE to watch the matches before you. Oh, shoot, they just did our cutoff spot. Oh, no. Oh, they just did our finish. You know what I mean? So you're like, oh, no, we got to hurry up and change it. And but TNA, very open arms. They're all welcoming and was just very loving, very, very mellow atmosphere compared to WWE. It was very mellow. And I came from being a little bit more stressed out all the time at WWE, to having too much freedom. And I go, hey, what am I doing? What should we do on this match? And he goes, oh, you got it. And I'm like, wait, whoa. That was too much freedom for me.
Right.
I was like, hey, I had, our agents would go, and hey, I had this cool idea. Fit would go, you need to try this. Let's go out there in the ring. Let's go try this move. That kind of, or let's try this. Let me see if you can pick them up for this, but it was still awesome. Like, and then the spider thing, of course I wasn't big a fan of that at the beginning, but then I felt really cool after a while, I'm like going,
okay,
what chick can carry a spider? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
Honestly, I'm not being, I'm not being, negative about women, but the girls I wrestle, they're like, you're not putting that spider on me. I go, that's part of my finish. So I have to turn them over after my widow's peak and then put it on their back so they wouldn't feel it. You know what I mean? But
I mean,
yeah.
you had that sort of spider theme for a lot of especially your later career in WWE, even before you went to TNA and called yourself, Tara after Tarantula. So where did that come from? Were you like a big Spider-Man fan, or what was it?
No, but I am a nerd. I am a big Comic Con nerd. Okay. So, Undertaker, he was out in the bleachers. And we would all, back in my day, all the girls would get there really early and work in the ring with Arn, Fit, Ricky Steamboat, like, Tommy Dreamer, Lance Storm, all these people would come out and help us on our matches. And he goes, come up here. He goes, sit down. And I go, yeah. And he goes, you remind me of. And I'm like, who? And he goes, Black Widow, the pool player. And I go, I know exactly who that is. The Asian girl with the long black hair, because I had long hair. And I go, oh my God, I'm going to call myself Black Widow. That's how it happened.
Wow.
Yeah. You get someone like Undertaker going, you remind me of Black Widow. I'm going to call myself Black Widow. I'm doing it.
You have to pick it up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't like my name when I went to TNA, Tara, because I wanted my real name. And I didn't realize it was short for Tarantula, because this is not when I got there, I was like lost. I'm like, where do I go? I don't, it was a new atmosphere. Right. And they changed my name and I was really upset about it. Because I said, oh, you guys were supposed to call me Lisa Marie, that kind of thing, so I could leave with my name.
Right.
And I talked to Sting, and being experienced, a legend and stuff. I go, can I talk to you for a second? And I told him, I go, they changed my name, and that wasn't part of the deal. I wanted my real name, so I don't have to start all over when I leave. I knew I wasn't going to wrestle forever.
Right, of course.
But at least people will know Lisa Marie, right? And so he goes, what are they calling you? And I go, Tara. And he goes, oh, that's a sexy name. And I go, okay, I'll keep Tara. So it was just Sting going, oh, I like that name. I'm like, okay, yeah.
But now so many people know you as that just because of, 5-time TNA Knockouts champion, and then Knockouts division being so, renowned, especially considering how far women's wrestling has come. And, you look back and that was really the start of a lot of people's careers. And even now it's still going. And
then Gail Kim is one of the, in like one of the head bosses there.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time a female's been in her position.
Right.
So, yeah. So, of course she's pro women division. So it's like, yeah, it's blown up. It's crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And, I have a couple specific questions about your career I want to ask. But before that, I just wanted to quickly talk to you about, you started off as one of the Godfather's hoes on the side. And then you ended, after having this legendary career. And, since then, seeing how far women's wrestling has come, what does that mean to you, especially knowing you're such a big part of that?
It's amazing. Honestly, you're proud of these kids, like you're like, it's like you're never bitter or jealous, like the exposure they're getting now, but you're just like going, man, it's about time, kind of, sort of,
right?
So not kind of, sort of, it's about time. They should have been main eventing a long time ago. But as girls, we work really hard. We don't want to be just looked at as being just sexy. We're athletes out there. We're bad actors that do our own stunts. You know what I mean? We want that, the respect aspect of it. And but when you see all this, you're so proud. Oh my gosh, you're just like, wow, this is amazing. It's amazing. Just excelled so quickly too. To me, after me being out. You know what I mean? I was like,
for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, one of the things I want to talk to you about is, growing up, one of the reasons you were always one of my favorite on the female side, and I always used to play as you on the SmackDown versus Raw games, is because of your finisher, the Widow's Peak. I think till date, I don't really know anyone else who does that, or certainly no one else who does it like you. So what was it that made you pick that up and use it? Because I think it's one of the iconic, underrated finishers in professional wrestling.
This says a lot about Molly Holly, how giving she was as a wrestler. She wasn't selfish or anything. She wanted to see everybody succeed. She saw Roderick Strong do it at an indie show.
Oh, wow.
And he was maybe, I don't even think he was 16 years old. And she goes, Lisa, I have a move for you. Here, pull me up in a power bomb. Here, hook my neck. And I'm like, I'm going to put my legs here. And I'm like, she goes, drop to your butt. And I go, what? What? And then we're talking to each other as I have her. And I drop. And then everybody saw that at the ring. And then Vince even saw it. And Molly goes, do you like that for Lisa? I mean, Victoria, we didn't call each other by our real names.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, are you okay? She goes, yeah. And I did it. The first person to receive it was Stacy Keibler. Yeah. And so when I saw Roderick Strong, I saw him, was it Boston? I don't remember what city. He was in the lobby. You know how some fans show up to the hotel lobby and stuff like that? And he was there and he goes, Victoria. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, my name's Roderick or Roddy or something. And I'm like, hey buddy, how you doing? He goes, I was the one that came up with the Widow's Peak. And I go, oh my God.
That's crazy.
You put me on the map. And he was like a kid, And yeah.
That's totally insane. That's such a weird connection between, you and Roderick Strong, who have completely like different career times, but I never knew that. That's something really interesting to learn.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that's why like a lot of people, when they watch Independence, or they're like, oh, what, I need to add something to my moves. You watch independent matches and you're like, oh, I think I can do that. You know what I mean? So a lot of things are stolen from the indies. It is. They are. Yeah.
100%.
And other shows sometimes,
For sure. But yeah, no,
I'm sure those people, it's flattering for that person, but they're like going, oh, that was my.
Has anyone ever asked you if they can take the Widow's Peak from you now that you're retired?
Yeah, the girl, Peyton, isn't she doing a variation of the Widow's Peak?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't she? Is she? Okay. She reached out to me.
Peyton Royce, you're talking about.
And DM'd me. Am I frozen? Okay.
No, you're talking about Peyton Royce, right?
Pardon?
You're talking about Peyton Royce, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And she DM'd me through Twitter saying, hey, they're wanting me to do the Widow's Peak. How do you feel about that? And I called Trish and I go, I don't know how to respond to this. And then she goes, well, so as long as they give you a shout out. So I said as a joke, like, oh my gosh, I'm so flattered. Yeah, go for it. Maybe you can do a shout out to me, laugh out loud. And they end up doing a shout out, like the commentator.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, so that was nice, that she does a different variation of it,
Mm-hmm.
Like they say finishers, you're supposed to be able to do it to everybody.
Right.
It's impossible. What if someone's like double your size? You can't lift them up. You know what I mean?
But you got most people up.
Yeah, that's why Molly gave it to me. She goes, you're the strongest one here and you can lift everybody up.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But when I went to TNA, those were challenges. Working with girls that were bigger than I was. And I was like going, oh, I can't lift. Oh no, she's a powerhouse too. You know what I mean? Like
right.
ODB, she goes, oh, I don't know. Like you're going to slam me. And I go, yeah. She goes, okay, I'm going to be heavy because we're so used to lifting everybody else up.
Right.
That we don't know how to make ourselves light,
Of
so
course.
we call it dead assing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Dead weight. That's But yeah, I'm guilty of that too. Cool. I don't go up super light because I was always the one that caught everybody in the sky. You know what I mean? I was like going, I'll base you. I'll catch you till the cows come home,
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So another thing I wanted to ask you about is, being a radio station, we promote a lot of music and we're really into the history of music. And one of the things I wanted to ask you about is you have two of the most famous or / underrated themes in professional wrestling. The first, of course, being, All the Things She Said by Tattoo. And the second being, your theme song for so many years was the Don't Mess With, which was by young Nicki Minaj. So
yes.
I want to ask, what input did you have in both of those entrance themes? Which one was your favorite? And, how did you come about getting those really essentially famous songs for yourself?
Okay, well, Tattoo, the people in charge said, we have a song that we want you to come out to. And so I go to listen to it. But I didn't get it at the beginning. I was like, oh, okay. Let me go get fit. So I went to go get fit. And I go, it's just not evil. I go, and he goes, so that's when they changed the beginning to be a little bit more creepy. And then of course my video was really creepy.
Right.
So then I of course I like it, but we only owned it for a year.
Oh,
That's why
wow.
they changed it, the copyrights. Okay. And then so they wanted a young, they were like, what kind of music do you like? And I go, actually, go figure. You're gonna think I might listen to heavy metal, not because of my whole character, right? I go, I was a hip hop kid, you know. I like break dancing and all that kind of stuff. And I'm very old school. I wanted to be a fly girl when I was young, and they were like, okay, well, you get this rap young lady. We didn't know it was Nicki Minaj at the time, and I Ain't the Lady to Mess With came up, and I was like, oh, I love it. Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, they like when I would turn evil, they would slow it down. They would speed it up if I'm a baby face, that kind of thing. I didn't like that. They could have made a little bit more effort. And then,
Sure.
yeah, but then when I went to TNA, they also had this song Broken
Yeah.
that they made. And that was really, they made the words up for me. And I was like, wow, this is amazing for me. Do you know what I mean? Because you belittle yourself. You don't think you're ever worthy enough. Well,
Right.
yeah, but that was cool. But and I didn't find out Nicki Minaj sang it until I heard on social media. That's how I found out. And I was
Have
like,
you ever reached out to her or ran into her by any chance?
I have made comments, like I follow her on social media and I have made comments, but I don't get anything back. Yeah, but I'm
Of course,
sure
I mean, she's a superstar.
or she might have somebody else run the Twitter. You know how like some people have their social
Right.
media managers and stuff like that. She might be too busy, you know? So yeah, but I always like going, oh, did she DM me? Oh, okay. You know? Yeah.
Of course, of course. So, I mean, to wrap up here before, we let you go, I want to ask you just, being that WrestleMania is supposed to be coming to Los Angeles next year, obviously in the current climate, we have no idea, but hopefully it does. Do you have any aspirations to, I know you said you're retired, but to come back into the wrestling business in another way, maybe as a manager or as a commentator? Obviously you have your own podcast, so you can clearly talk. So do you have any aspirations to come back to the wrestling business, whether for WWE or TNA?
You know, I would consider it if they approached me. Of course, I'd think about it, and I would have to ask them what do you see me doing. I don't want to be just a fly on the wall. I mean, even if they even brought me as a trainer for the new girls, and I don't get TV time, I'm still helping out the business, that kind of thing.
Right.
I don't need to win matches. You know, I mean, I don't want to be buried. You know what I mean? Or squashed, right? But I would have to hear what they have to offer, that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Because going back to traveling all the time, Mickey James still does it, because that's why sometimes we film on certain days, like our GAWtv on YouTube. It's we always point out, hey, are you gonna be home? Are you Wednesday is okay? She goes, Wednesday is the best day for me. But you know what I mean? And she also has to do interviews too with WWE and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. So she's more, she's on the go. I gotta go, you guys. I'm on the plane, and because we talk to each other, 30 times a day because, hey, we're gonna do this tomorrow. Hey, don't forget to do the photo shoot in this because we need to promote that outfit. That I mean, very tiny things, but we talk every day, But
Yeah.
what was I gonna say to you? Oh, the travel. That's to be gone 4 days a week. I don't know. I really has to be worth it. Do you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And I wanted to ask you about GAW. You just mentioned it right there. It's a show you do with SoCal Val and Mickey James called Grown Ass Woman TV. So can you tell us a little bit about that and where people can find it?
Yeah, it's youtube.com/GAWtv show. We had someone else owed the GAWtv, so we had to add the show on there. So it came up. I got a Voxer. We still do old school Voxer, which is an app. It's a walkie-talkie app. And hey, we're thinking about doing a show. Would you want to be part of it? SoCal Val and Mickey. Mickey came up with it a long time ago. It was supposed to be with Alicia Fox, and when they reached out, I go, heck yeah, let's do it. Come on, COVID. That's the best thing that came out with COVID-19 for us. We have this awesome show, and it's so amazing. Like now that your friends reach out to you, going, when am I going to be on the show? And I'm like, oh my god. And you know how as an interviewer and having your own show to get guests, you're like, are they going to commit?
Right.
Who can I get? Oh my gosh, they're not responding. That kind of stuff. It's really hard
Exactly.
to guest, but it's easy because we have so many friends in the business for us.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So it's a little bit, it's nice, but it's God's grown ass women talking nonsense. You're like a fly on the wall. We drink wine. I'm drinking wine right here. And we just it's like we're in pajamas normally, and see my kitchen's right behind me, and so like you're in our home, and we're just we take fan questions, you know, or they'll send a video, you know, they get to see themselves on the show. It's not all wrestling. It's about, you know, we talk about relationships or like, oh my God, guess what happened to me today with this homeless? Because I live downtown San Diego, and homeless is a really bad problem.
Right.
Super bad, super bad. And I'll have a story every day. And see, I live right upstairs. If you can hear the beeping, wait. Oh, it's a trolley. I live upstairs from the trolley. So
right.
Yeah, so it's like you can hear. They thought I had the automatic dial-up internet, and I go, what? They don't have that anymore, do they? She goes, I kept on thinking you guys were on I was on dial-up because of the beeping outside. And I'm like, I'm downtown. It's an old building. The windows are the original, so you can hear everything. It's not soundproof. So yeah, it's but it's a fun show. We're having a blast. We're getting sponsors, and God, it's gonna get. You got to watch tomorrow's. It's gonna be hard to follow tomorrow's show.
Awesome.
It's gonna be 2:00 our time, California time, on YouTube. Yeah, it's you got that one. You're gonna be very proud of me. You're probably gonna send me email. Oh my God. Yeah, that's.
I'll definitely check it out, and I'll 100% send that out. And we'll, you know, when we put out this interview, hopefully sometime next week, we'll put the link to GAW, to your social media, and all of that.
Please, and we'll repost it. Don't forget to tag Nicki and SoCal Val too.
100%. Okay.
Yes. Oh my God, this is great. And I do love we didn't even get this on camera, your Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Who painted that?
Oh, I did this myself, actually. The day after I met
Are you serious? Wow. That is awesome. Wait, is that a Back to Future poster?
Yep, right next to it.
I had Claudia Wells on our show.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, we met each other at Comic-Cons. Her and I were the last people to leave our Comic-Cons because, you know, we're kind of old school girls too. Like, what if someone comes at 4:30 and wants our autograph?
Right.
And we're advertised till 5, but there were a lot of celebrities that would leave, and you're just like, it would look bad on us, you know? But I had her on the show, and I'm sure she would love to do your show. I'm gonna reach out to her.
Oh, wow. 100%.
Yeah, she's amazing. Oh my, she's the most down-to-earth woman ever, and she's a businesswoman. She owns a store in Hollywood, I think it's a Hollywood. It's used known brands like Versace, like you know for very less expensive. You know what I mean? She has that, and then she fits them. You know, she dresses them.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and then she just started doing women's clothing.
That's awesome.
So that's why I haven't been there. I'm like, well, she doesn't do women, but she does it now. But we had her on an interview, and if you can search it back on our Back to the Future one. I'm like, are you in your garage? And she goes, no, I'm in my house. Her whole house is storage, like just clothes. And see, I'm one that doesn't like a lot of clutter. Like, and I was like, I don't know how you relax. I wouldn't be able to relax. Oh my God, how do you relax in that? She goes, oh, this is my business. I do clothes. And so but I wish I remember the name of the store. I'll send that. I'll email it to you so you can just swing by. You have to make an appointment to go in the store, I think.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Okay, before we let you go, I'd like to ask you a couple questions off air. But before we do that, so I had Natalia on as one of my first 2 guests on the show. And her dad is, of course, Jim Danville Neidhart, who is the other famous Bruin professional wrestler. So I got Natalia to do the 8 clap. I'm sure you know all about that. Can we get you to do the 8 clap on air with us?
What's the 8 clap? What do you mean?
The 8 clap, UCLA's cheer.
Do it with me. I don't know it. I never went to a game. I never went to a game.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Isn't that sad? I was sad. I was like going, maybe I should join a sorority. And my brothers were like, over my dead, you're never going to join a sorority, because they were in fraternities. It's like, we know what happens. And I'm like, oh, okay. What's the 8 clap? Teach me.
Okay. So you put your hands above your head and you count to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you clap like that at the same time. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. U C L A UCLA. Fight.
Oh my God! I never knew that. I'm so upset. And I was a cheerleader for most of my life.
Yeah, that's why I thought you would know.
I'm so sad. See, I didn't, you know what? When I did live, I was so intrigued by living there. I was just like, oh, I was just wandering all over. I didn't even go to any sports games. I'm so disappointed in myself that I didn't really take advantage of all that stuff there, you know?
Either way, I mean, you still left the legacy, both, you know, being a UCLA student and being the only Bruin world champion still means a lot for me to go here and be able to tell people that. And, you know, you had such an amazing career everywhere in WWE and TNA and the independent circuit and left such a lasting impression. We're so honored to have you on, and thank you for giving us this time today.
Oh, no, thank you so much. And thank you for being patient because my emails, I get a lot of spam. I just started a new one and it's still getting spam. And then, so like, by the time I go, you know how I used to love social media, but you know what, you start scrolling, like you go past 20, I go, I can't anymore.
Right.
I get burned out a little bit on it, you know? Have you seen the movie Social Dilemma?
I have not.
On Netflix? There's an algorithm to get you addicted to social media. The computers are way ahead of the humans are trying to go into, like, they have a little bit too much control of the computers, but it's already out there. So when they don't see you scrolling, they're going to send you something that you're interested in.
I mean, that makes sense given the world today.
Yeah. So we have a rule after 5 o'clock here in my house, no phone. We have it on vibrate because just in case something happens to my dad, God forbid, but you know, or my family, but we have it on vibrate, no social media. When you're at home, it's family time. I know, but you're much younger than I am. You know what I mean? I'm about to turn 50 and just like, come on, we're home together. Let's watch some TV. Let's watch our paranormal activity shows. And I'm addicted to those, my ghost adventures. Yeah, but yeah.
Thank you so much, Victoria.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, this was great. So much fun.